Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. Maddy, Glab alongside Steve Tasker. We're presented by the divorce and estate planning law firm of Clark, Peshkin, and the Bills with a big win over the Dallas Cowboys. Final score 31-10, and the team, the best offense in the NFL, the team who was on a 5-game win streak, averaging 40.2 points per game, was held to just 10 points by the Buffalo Bills defense. An incredible game by the rushing offense. James Cook, a coming out party. Are we really seeing what the future of James Cook is going to look like here in a Buffalo Bills uniform? The Bills are still kicking. The Bills are alive. Do not count Buffalo out of this playoff race.
The Bills won the game. Josh Allen threw it 15 times. He had for 94 yards, had a touchdown, didn't turn the football over. He ran for 20 yards, and they blew the Cowboys out. The defense was absolutely fantastic. The pass rush was everything they wanted it to be. The Dak Prescott dropped back, had to pat the ball once or twice. That's all it took, and he got sacked and he went down. The Bills got into a really physical matchup with the Cowboys, and the offensive line of the Buffalo Bills absolutely dominated from start to finish. They allowed 1 sack, and they rushed for over 200 yards. It was a statement win by the Bills, and particularly the big guys up front.
266 yards on the ground for the Bills. It was the most by a Bills offense in the Sean McDermott era. They had 254 last year against the Chicago Bears, and James Cook, just incredible stats by him, averaging 7.2 yards per carry, well over 200 scrimmage yards for this guy. It's his 5th straight game where he has over 100 scrimmage yards. We're going to get into all of that, but right now, Josh Allen, QB1, he's taking questions at the podium, so we'll go right over to him.
Josh, what would you say about this team to be able to win the way you won today, running the ball, just committing to that the way you did?
Yeah, I mean, I applaud Joe for sticking with it. Obviously, our O-line played fantastic today. Our running backs ran the ball well. James Cook, I think the most scrimmage yards since 2009, something like that. It's going to get overlooked, but Stephon Diggs, first time I think in Bills history that he's gone over 1,000 yards in 4 consecutive seasons. That's freaking unbelievable. But again, we're getting better as the season goes on, and I think that's kind of what we're built for in games like this, and finding ways. And our defense went out there and against a fantastic offense and did their thing. So it was a complete team win today.
What's the vibe on the offensive line have to be in order for you guys to run the ball like you did today?
Whatever it was today. I couldn't tell you what was different, but we committed to it. James ran hard. Tay ran hard. Ty ran hard. And when you can stay in front of the sticks like we did today, I don't know how many third downs we had, but it couldn't have been that many. I don't think I threw the ball that many times, which, again, I don't just get it done. Let's just find a way to win, and felt like the kid that didn't do anything in the class project but got an A. But again, I'll do this 10 times out of 10 times, man. Like this, keep going.
How comfortable were you with this game plan and the outcome?
I wouldn't say that was really our game plan going into it. We trusted the five guys up front. I thought our tight ends blocked really well too. So 6-7 guys up front, and the backs made us right. I think we had 270 yards rushing, something like that. It's unbelievable. We just got to keep finding ways to win. Some days it's going to be like that. Some days it's going to be the opposite. We're going to have to throw the ball. So we understand that. We know that. But at the end of the day, especially in the spot that we're at right now, just win.
In addition to the offensive line, Josh, what's been, from where you sit, like the key to unlocking James Cook? Because he's continued to improve. Today he was the best player on the field.
Yeah. The key is James Cook. Having that mindset, having that mentality, putting his shoulder down, running through tackles, in the pass game, making plays. And I know he's going to beat himself up over that one at the goal line, but you can't ask much more from the guy. He's been working hard. I think he's probably top 5 in most scrimmage yards in the league right now, and we got to keep relying on him.
Hey Josh, a lot of work left to do, but all 3 phases, do you feel like you guys are really hitting the curve right?
That's what it feels like. But at the end of the day, again, every week is different, and any given Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, things can change. So we got to find a way to play our best ball going forward, and the confidence that this team has right now, I'd say is pretty high, but we got to go out each game day and prove it.
What was it like, with your O-line out there battling with Dallas's defensive line, and pretty much Micah Parsons, not a sack, kept you pretty much clean, so.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at those guys and, having the confidence just to run the dang ball, and that's O-line loves running the ball. Don't get it twisted. They can say they want to pass protect and they want to move people off their feet and they want to attack downhill, and that's what we did today.
Josh, does this team thrive as a team that has their back against the wall?
I mean, I think just based on the past, I think so. And I think, again, just the type of guys that we have in this locker room, the makeup, and I think that's what, Bean and McDermott have done such a good job in terms of bringing guys in that have that type of chip, have that type of mentality, and when your back's against the wall, you're finding a way to get out of there.
Josh, this seemed like as physical a game as you guys have played in a while, both sides of the ball. Did you sense that coming in? Did you feel it on the field with the way both offense and defense played?
I mean, I think just, again, we understand what position we're in right now, and we gotta win games. It doesn't matter how we get them done, and sometimes a team like that, again, they're usually used to playing in a dome. They throw the ball quite a bit. And I think teams try to throw on their defense quite a bit, and I don't know if anybody's, attacked the run as much as we did tonight. And again, we just trusted our guys up front and trusted our backs to make plays, and they did.
Josh, can you talk about Bills Mafia? They're chanting MVP. They heard you loud and clear on Wednesday. Your response?
I appreciate it. Love Bills Mafia. They were huge tonight. I'm just trying to win football games. Thank you guys.
All right, that was Josh Allen, and I love how he said, I feel like the kid who was in a school project and we got a good grade, but I really didn't do a lot of the work. He came out of that game feeling pretty clean, feeling pretty rested and ready to go for a Chargers game next week. Hey, that's awesome. I mean, you look at those stats, you would think, did the Bills win this game if you're just looking at Josh Allen's stats? I mean, I can't remember the last time he had 94 passing yards and won a game, but again, you go back to his performance, the Bills don't win this game without Josh. I know James Cook was incredible, but a lot of what James Cook is able to do is the threat of the pass by what the Bills have been able to do on offense with him and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, kudos to Joe Brady. The Cowboys invited the Bills to run the football in a couple of cases, and the Bills never didn't oblige, and they made them pay for that. James Cook's ability to be patient behind the offensive line, I think. Now we're seeing him have confidence to say, I don't have to hit this hard. Just wait for it to develop and then burst through it. His burst was great today. He bounced it out a couple of times. I'll give you a couple of stats that jumped out to me. The Bills had a total of 28 first downs. 20 of them were by running the football.
Amazing.
That was huge. Also, they had 3 by penalty. They were 5 of 9 on third downs. They only had 9 third downs. Today, and they had 85 yards of passing. 85.
Yeah, they're net.
Dallas had net 106. I mean, this looks like it should have been 3 feet of snow on the ground the way this game was played, and yet it's a tribute to Joe Brady, I think, for his willingness and the team's willingness when they find something that's working. You got this superstar quarterback who's in the MVP race, and he doesn't care, believe me, but they don't feel obligated to let's give Josh a series here. Let's just win this game and force the Dallas Cowboys to do something that they haven't been able to do yet. And they never got it done. They never stopped the Bills when they really needed to on the ground. When they knew it was coming, they had no answers. And kudos to the Bills' offensive line and James Cook.
And this Cowboys defense, I mean, they're really good pass defense, and if you were going to get them, it was going to be on the ground. They ranked middle of the pack in the NFL on the ground, allowing far more rushing yards than they do passing yards. They take the ball away at a very high rate, so the Bills decide to go to the run. So let's get into this week's Player Spotlight. It's presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills. We've talked about it a little bit already, but we are, of course, giving this to James Cook for the game that he had against the Cowboys. 179 rushing yards on the ground, averaging 7.2 yards per rushing attempt, and then also 42 receiving yards, a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown, 2 total TDs for him on the day. And you got to give an assist kudos to the offensive line as well for the job that they did.
Absolutely. The offensive line executed at an extremely high level. They only gave up 1 sack on the night as well against a really, really elite Dallas pass rush. James Cook breaking out of the backfield on this, catching the touchdown on the first series, really got the Bills off to a good start. Josh saw the matchup, rolled out towards him, and there was just absolutely no chance. It looked easy, but it was executed perfectly, and it was a perfectly timed play call.
And then this defensive line that the Cowboys have, they've got Micah Parsons. They're known for creating so much chaos at the line of scrimmage, which can easily scare an offensive line. I mean, Micah Parsons, heading into this game, had 12.5 sacks, 81 quarterback pressures, and 15 quarterback pressures when he was double teamed. When you're going up against a player like that, it is a little bit scary as an offensive line to have to ID where is this guy every single time the ball is being snapped, because the Cowboys like to move him around, which is a big reason why there is so much chaos at the line of scrimmage, and the offensive line did a great job with that task.
Yeah, they really did. And Micah Parsons got rolled into by Reggie Gilliam early in the game and came off the field for a minute, tried to go, and it's going to be very interesting to see his week on the injury report coming up. I think Dallas needs him completely healthy to make a run at it. I think he's that important to their team. Certainly their offense is high powered, and it'll recover from a night like they had tonight. But Micah Parsons is a guy that could be Defensive Player of the Year in the league, and they need him down the stretch. So it was an unfortunate deal where Gillian got tied up with one of their players and got thrown down, and he just rolled into Parsons at the end of a play. Don't want to see anything like that happen, but I think that's something to keep an eye on in the coming week.
All right, well, as we're loving on this offensive line and the performance that they had tonight, let's throw it to Dion Dawkins, one of the most lovable guys on this team. He's in the locker room.
Like that, what it feels like on the offensive line on a play-to-play basis.
It feels physical. Like anytime, like for the big boys, when we can move forward and not backwards, as in our athletic abilities. Because, offense of tackles, offensive linemen, everything is backwards, like when we're pass prone. So when we can go forward on the initial movement, it's a beautiful thing. And it's physical. It was a physical game because we chose to run, and that all goes to Joe Brady and Josh and Cook and our running backs, Like they let us do our thing and they showed up for us. So it was we wash your hand, you wash ours, and it worked.
You said you chose to run it. Was that how much of that was coming into the game plan? How much of it was, damn, this is working, let's stay with it?
It's really that, it's working, stay with it. Why change? It's a beautiful feeling, but why change if it's working? Until they stop it, let's keep going.
How does it feel as a unit? Does it build momentum as you're getting more of a push? It's working play after play.
Heck yeah, man. It's a beautiful feeling when guys are falling forward. It's fun. It was fun. It was a fun game because the energy, it was high, and that momentum of those positive run plays pushes us to the positivity of we're doing it right. We're doing things right. We're doing things together, because to run the football, everybody has to be on the right accord, whether it's a B on the backside, whether it's a triple or whatever it might be, like on that front side or backside. Everybody was on the right cue. Everybody was on the right channel. Everybody was just on the right mission, and it worked.
You used the word fun. It hasn't been fun all season. What does fun do for this team at this point in the season?
It sends us to dinner after wins. And whenever you can go to dinner after a game, it's usually a good sign.
I'm just going to say 2 words you can comment. James Cook.
He's cooking. Chef Cook, man. Chef Cuillardé, man. Love the kid. Young kid, but he's been showing up and showing out. Cook. It's our guy, man.
Dion, what's impressed you most about his growth and maturation at being James Cook from the beginning of the season until now? Because it just seems like he has more confidence at this point in the year compared to maybe where he was in week 1.
Yeah, but like all that comes with like positive plays. Like like things have changed now. Cook is getting passes and it's getting him going. It's getting his energy up. Once his energy like turns on, then Cook really becomes chef, and it's a nice thing that the kid is coming alive early in games. After the first time he touches the football, he just comes alive, and it's a beautiful thing.
Talk about the block you had. It wasn't the one Cook scored on, the one where he went 20 yards down to the one, and you just buried a dude 20 yards downfield. I mean, take us into that play.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing when things go right, but if my guard wasn't doing what he was doing, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. If Mitch wasn't calling the right calls, I would have nothing to do with any of this stuff. So it's always good when we can let our physical abilities and physical momentum on them instead of it the opposite way. But you're asking this question because Seibel did his job, Mitch did his job, Spencer did his job, and Connor did his. And it allowed me to be able to do what I did. So it's a testimony to my quarterback and my whole line. But, I want to put that shine on all of us, all 5 of us, because, when one of us wins, we all win.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right, a couple more fun stats. James Cook's 221 scrimmage yards are top 3 by any player in a game this season. Also, James Cook was averaging 9.4 yards per carry when he was running behind Dion Dawkins in the first half of the game. How good of a season is Dion Dawkins having?
He's on all-pro level left tackle, and he's doing it for a team that's in playoff hunt. They've got their foot on the gas now. They've got some work to do, and we'll talk about it, what's left of this season as we get deeper into the show, and on Bills Tonight we'll also talk about it. But at this point, Dion Dawkins couldn't be playing any better. He's extremely high level. They've asked him to do more this year, particularly under Joe Brady, since this offense has evolved a little bit under a new offensive coordinator midseason. They've asked him to do a little bit more, and he's not only done it, he has excelled doing it. So his athleticism is on display, his pass protection's on display, his leadership's been on display, and Dion Dawkins, this just in, Dion Dawkins is a fantastic left tackle at the NFL level.
Yeah, he's having a great season, and the Bills are back to a win streak. They've won the last 2 games. Their first win streak this season since they did it from weeks 2 through 4 when they won 3 straight. A lot of wins and losses in the middle of the season for this team, but they are back on the winning track. Won the last 2. Let's see if they can win out this season. They've got their work ahead for us, like you just said, are ahead for them, as you just said. But the playoff race is alive and well, and a lot of this win should go to the defense. They did a great job of pressuring Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb was a non-factor in this one. Yes, he had that late touchdown, but they were pretty much able to limit him throughout the entire game. So let's go to the podium and hear from Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau.
Get out on them, get up on them, and kind of make them one-dimensional. Basically what we preach all the time, and I don't know. If the game got going and it just seemed like a snowball effect, it was just, one of them games we get up on people and it just keep going. We stop, offense score, we stop them, offense score, and it just, you're doing it like that. You make it easy.
I feel like they missed when Mark went out. He's one of the best guards in the league. Was that an opportunity for you guys to maybe take advantage of some stuff?
You got it? Yeah, Martin, all pro, probably Hall of Famer, right? So obviously them not having him is a big loss, but it really don't matter who you line up out there. It's more so about what we're going to do, not more so about them. So the other guy came in, he was solid. Zach is solid. I really wanted to play Zach, but the other guy came in, and you just take our opportunities and went after them, yeah.
Josh said he feels like the team is getting better as they get, farther into the season. Do you feel defensively after a couple back-to-back games that's true about the defense as well?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say the defense and the whole team. You saw how we jumped out 14-zip, then I think 21-3, something like that. So when they do that and we're firing on all cylinders, and we both make each other's jobs easier, special teams included. So it's all about, being making the team one-dimensional, but also just being a well-balanced, well-rounded team on special teams, offense, and defense, and that's our goal every single week.
To accomplish that, this could be for both of you. How prepared do you feel? Like the course of preparation during the week, watching these guys on film, what Sean was calling and kind of dialing up. How well did that actually translate to the field today in terms of your prep?
You got it. I'd say every week is about preparing. Every week is about being in the best mind space possible and having the best game plan. So, I mean, I feel like Coach McDermott, Coach Washington, the offensive players will say the same. They do a great job of getting us ready and getting us all the information we need. It's about us going out there and executing on Sundays.
You guys aren't in that playoff spot yet. You're still sitting just below right now.
Right.
But do you feel dangerous? Does this team feel dangerous?
Man, I think we definitely found ourselves as a team. We starting to play with a lot of swagger, a lot of juice, and especially when we get teams in here at home and it gets loud. I mean, it gets crazy. But I definitely think, like, we're not in the playoffs right now, but the main thing is just having that juice, that swagger, that when we go out there, we all is one, and we know what to expect from everybody, and everybody knows everybody going to do their job, and everybody on the same page. And when you playing like that, that's how you get into the playoffs, and that's you know what I'm saying? So as long as we keep playing with the same swagger, same juice, D-line coming off the ball, linebackers coming down here, we taking the ball away. I think CB had a pick, right? So like when you're doing things like that, man, it's just that swagger is contagious. And so we'll be in the playoff spot for long, but as of right now, as long as we keep playing with that swag, it make it just fun, even playing on Sundays, you know?
How important was it for you guys today to not allow Dak Prescott to have a comfort zone in that pocket? You kept him moving for most of the game.
That's how you beat him. Quarterback not comfortable, overthrowing. I think maybe it might have been like the first play of the game, second play. He threw like a bomb. I'm talking about straight down the middle of the field, bomb, but he overthrew it a little bit. I said, well, you let that thing rip. Well, I knew he had overthrew it. I was close to him. So I just kind of like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, just the game within inside of the game. So I'm like, man, he really can throw the ball. As long as you close to him, up on him, he might overthrow it, underthrow it, say, you putting that pressure. I say, man, it's going to be not an easy game, but it's going to be a fun game.
Greg, Leonard's been in this league a long time. What is it about him that year after year he maintains a high level of play?
Well, I've only known him for 1 year, but just always practicing hard, always playing hard. And he has a knack for getting to the quarterback. A lot of times it's not really, it might not be like, oh, you beat your guy and win. Sometimes it's just having that feel, like working off a dude like Ed who's always creating havoc. You could, you know what I'm saying? If you know how to get loose with it, you can kind of work off him and get right. So he got that instinct as a pass rusher, and also he just plays hard, and he got a motor that keeps on going.
We were talking about that. I think we'll talk about that on the sideline.
Yeah,
he could have took one pass to the quarterback, but he took another pass to a quarterback. And I was grabbing Dak, and Dak just so happened to spin back and run right into him. But he could have followed me, but he was like, nah, Dak gonna be over here. Like he saw it before it actually happened, and he literally smacked Dak in the face. Dak turned around like this to go run. Bam, he ran right in the flow. It's things like that you start getting savvy. When you get old in the league and you start knowing kind of, okay, if he grabbing him here, he going to try to spin back out. Let me not run back. Let me not run behind Ed. Let me take this way. Boom, he spin back. Sometimes it could be just that easy, So.
That sack got Leonard a new career high. It also earned him $1 million in incentive money. So, as a teammate,
you owe me about a hand. really and truly, I had him. 77 was pushing on me. My shoulder got high. Had to let him go.
A chunk of that then?
Christmas gonna be good. Need something. LV bag.
Ed, you had a front row seat, so did you, Greg, of James Cook today. What did you think of his game?
Come on now. Go ahead, Greg.
No, he's a dog, man. I played against Cook when I was like 10 years old. We're both from Florida, so he's like a legend down there, and he's doing his thing up here. So real proud of him. He's a younger guy, but you wouldn't even know it by the way he plays. So he's a baller. He's certified. He's a dog.
I feel like I was watching the same play. 10-yard game. 10-yard game.
Every time.
10-yard game. I like, all right, go ahead then, Cook. Then the front flip. Come on now. That's his signature right there.
Does he practice that, or does he just break it out for the games?
No, that's kind of like beast mode when he jump into the end zone and he
Yeah.
do a flip. That's kind of his little thing, I guess. He done it 2 weeks in a row. I want to see him do a flip every week.
Every single week.
All right, that was Greg Rousseau and Ed Oliver. I love the way that Ed Oliver recognizes the incredible game that a lot of these guys play. James Cook, Dak Prescott, Leonard Floyd. There was a lot of greatness on the field tonight, and I think I just want him to like narrate my life the way that he's able to narrate how things happen in the game. But Ed Oliver with another great game, same as Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd is up to double-digit sacks. It's the first time a Buffalo Bill has had double-digit sacks since Lorenzo Alexander did it in 2016 with 12 and a half. The defensive line has been we've been saying it all year. They've been having a great year. They continue to do so. Ed Oliver talked about that swag, and I think a lot of that comes from the defensive line.
Right, it does. And the way they're rotating those guys through, the way they have managed the injuries that have hit them with Daquan Jones early in the season, and now A.J. Epinesa being out for a minute, it's been really remarkable. And I think a lot of those guys have been around for a couple of years now in the same kind of rotation, particularly now with Vaughn being in here for a whole year. Rousseau coming into his own has been around for a minute. And, of course, Ed signing the extension, being drafted here, and having, I think, the level, and Jordan Phillips, I mean, you go down the list, those guys really have a lot of reps with each other.
Yeah, they're comfortable.
And it shows. I think it shows. That stuff that Ed was talking about, the pretty specific stuff he says when he grabs the guy here and spins, and I say, I got to do that. That's some pretty specific stuff at a pretty high level that they have been through enough times where he doesn't have to think about it. And he can actually sit there and say, well, when it's complicated. And yet it came to him in a heartbeat, and that's how you start turning in big plays. And let's face it, you don't have to do it every down. But if you can do it a handful of times in a game, it's huge. So that level of familiarity with the guys that you're rotating in with and the different combinations that have been forced not only through injury but also happenstance, it's pretty remarkable, and I think that's one of the reasons why this group is so good together.
Their mantra is rush as one, and they've been doing that at a high level so far this season. This week's game against the Cowboys is presented by ECMC. ECMC bringing hope and healing to Western New York. The defense finished with 3 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, 1 interception. For more on their performance, let's get into our insider's take with Chris Brown.
What a day for Buffalo's defense. While the offense controlled time of possession throughout this game with a very productive running attack, Buffalo's defense forced 5 punts on Dallas's first 6 possessions. Come the second half, they added an interception as well by Christian Benford. All told, the Bills hold the Cowboys to a season-low 195 total yards in the game. They also made CeeDee Lamb, Dallas's leading receiver, a non-factor as he finishes with just 53 yards receiving on the night. At Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, I'm Chris Brown for Bills Postgame Live.
All right, the Cowboys were just held to 10 points. One other time this season, it was their loss against the 49ers in Week 5. This team has been averaging well over 30 points throughout the entire season. The last 5 games, they were up to 40.2 points per game. And the Bills' defense holds them to just 10. Let's get into some more player sound. Mitch Morse now at the podium, and he'll be joined by none other than James Cook.
How enjoyable is it to have a game like that where you just kick the living hell out of it?
Well, the great thing was we put together a tremendous week of practice, week of preparation. It's one of those things I've talked about before. This team in the past few weeks has done a very good job of taking it one moment at a time and compounding those moments, whether it be practice, meetings, taking care of your body. And then you having a culmination of those moments on Sunday, and then we're able to kind of put those to use. And I think that's the most fun, is to see what you practice, those adjustments you make during the week, and even throughout the game making those adjustments. And I'm not gonna lie, it was nice not having to be a pass happy against a very good defensive front that really hunts the pass. This really hunts the passer. So that was fun to kind of mitigate those really third down longs, those opportunities.
How early in that game did you realize that you were going to be able to run the ball the way you did?
I mean, seeing this guy break tackles and you're seeing his numbers, the back of his numbers. That's when you know that this dude was running his ass off, and along with that, all the running backs in general. I don't know. I don't know if it's a question I can totally answer, because I think this team does a very good job of just kind of sticking in that moment, right? And then you look up at the score, or you look up at where you are, and you've matriculated the ball down the field, and you've taken time off the clock, and put our defense in an advantageous position where they've had time to rest, and then the opposing offense is in a kind of one-dimensional game where they're having to pass the ball. So it was kind of all systems go today. I also think in this locker room, the great thing is that we understand this was a great victory. We're going to enjoy this against a good team, but winning this game, it was just kind of the next step in what our ultimate goal is, which is to make the playoffs first and then go from there. But we still have an uphill battle, but this was a great first step.
James, where's your confidence level after a game like that today?
I mean, it's been there, I just let it rip when I get my opportunity.
Did you feel as the game was going on that you were just kind of in a rhythm, in a zone?
Oh, yeah. My old linemen, they was opening it up, and I was hitting it and finding that rhythm.
Is that a confidence thing? I mean, we've seen flashes of this type of play from you before, but the way you've seen really over the last couple of weeks to really put it all together like this and be as dominant as you were today, how much have you kind of built towards that, I guess? I work my tail off every day, so the confidence level gonna come in practice. Once you practice hard and do the things right, it's a confidence booster, and it's gonna show on Sundays.
Mitch, what's it mean for the offense overall when you don't have to rely so heavily on Josh, and obviously what James has been able to do the last couple of weeks in assisting the overall offensive output?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that Josh is a playmaker, and our offense runs through him. To have that opportunity to not give that defensive front, that defense in general, to the ability to hunt the passer, was a tremendous force. And like I said before, even when we got in those third downs, they were more third and manageable, where there was an opportunity to at least have the threat of run. So that was great. And then, every game is different. You don't totally come into every game thinking we're going to pound the rock the whole game and win this way, or run or throw the ball or whatever. And you just kind of see how it goes. You don't feel it out, but you see how the game plays out. And in this instance, it was on the ground. And kudos to all the guys. Everyone was on the same page. I think that's a big deal. And even if we were wrong, we were all wrong together. And much like Josh, number 4 over here, and all the other guys gave us an opportunity by making us right sometimes when we messed up. So it was really fun. But like I said, it was kind of a celebration of the preparation we've had as a team, and just kind of focusing on taking it one moment at a time.
James, you tweeted after the game that you had fun. Today was fun. What made today so much fun?
The success, the winning, just the good plays, all the moments that we had out there. It was just awesome.
Mitch, how much of a difference being able to kind of rest the legs this late in the season for the fourth quarter for your starters? We got a short week, playing Saturday. Benefit there?
That's tough. That's a tough one. It was more so just kind of a mental liberation, and more so just like when you see the guys come in and Josh come out, it's just more kind of just like a statement in regards to how the game went. I wouldn't say anytime you have an opportunity to get Josh out of the game is great. But we do have a short week, and putting the ball on the ground that many times, there's a few bumps and bruises from all of us. But those are the ones that you're okay with, because those are well earned, and kind of remind you of how the day went, which was just great.
James, the front flip into the end zone, is that becoming maybe a trademark for you here?
Nah, I just did it again. 'Cause I don't know. I ain't had no celebration, so I just did it.
Last one.
When's the last time you felt like you were in that much control of a game at any level?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that question. But I'm happy we got the win. Go Bills.
Well said. Thank you, guys.
All right, even in a game where Josh Allen had just 95 passing yards, 94 passing yards, he still breaks an NFL record. He had reached his 10th game this season with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. That breaks a record. Kyler Murray had 9 in 2020, so he now owns the single-season NFL record. So kudos to Josh. In a game and a day where he didn't have a lot of grass or dirt on his jersey, he is still breaking records.
Yeah, and this is one of those games where the team wins, and where everybody's happy, and you look at and you start to break it down, and these two quarterbacks coming in, Dak and Josh, their numbers are about the same. I mean, Josh had 85, Dak had 106. Neither one of these guys lit it up. Certainly, Dak threw one interception late in the game when it was decided he's trying to make something happen, and even then, I think the guy he was trying to throw it to actually pulled down, thinking he was going over his head, and Dak's sitting there, like, dude, right? So the thing got out of hand early, and you think about how games like this go, and it's easy to sit here at the end and say it's a blowout. It was kind of a laugher. None of this stuff mattered. But I think in some cases, the players will see it, and I think take it into account. Dallas should have had a block punt for a touchdown, and it turned into a first down for Buffalo because of the roughing the passer. And then you go back, and Josh drew a laughable roughing the passer call on DeMarcus Lawrence. Early in the game, got him a first down when they should have been punting. The Bills gave the Cowboys a nice added first down when Dak ran for a first down, and then Dotson hit Dak after he kind of gave himself up, but he led with his head, unnecessary roughness. Some of those plays go the other way early in the game, and maybe the game doesn't get out of hand. Maybe the Bills aren't up 14-0, or maybe 21-3 at half. So when they go back and look at the film, and they always say it's not as bad as it looks, it's not as bad as it was on film, and it's not as good as it was on film. There'll be some of that in this game for the Bills. Certainly, they stretched it out, and when the game got going, I don't want to say shocked. I was surprised the Cowboys had no answers in the run game.
They really did not.
I was really surprised they couldn't find a way to get the Bills to have to throw it more than 15 times. But they couldn't do it. And kudos to the Bills for making that happen. And it's something, certainly the Cowboys are going to go back and go to the drawing board and say, listen, we got to do better here, got to do better here. Certainly Hankins being out hurt them, their best defensive tackle, no question. But, man, the Cowboys are a much better team than 10-31 in this Bills game. And the Bills probably helped themselves, but they played well enough to score 31 against the Dallas Cowboys and hold them to 10. So, all things being considered, you can't get carried away with a game like this, but certainly you can file away and say, yeah, we've got that in our tank. Let's get it out once in a while.
One thing the Cowboys wanted to focus on this season was first downs and time of possessions. They just had 14 first downs, and their time of possession just 24 minutes and 55 seconds compared to the Bills having 35 minutes and 5 seconds. All right, let's round out the night here with Sean McDermott, who is just on the podium.
Good to get a win. Great environment at Highmark Stadium. Fans were phenomenal. Again, playing here, the environment that they help us with on Sundays, on game days, is unmatched around the NFL. I've said that before numerous times. I should have said this to start. Glory to God, man, with his blessings, right? And everyone that was out there, some guys got banged up, some guys were able to play through some things. Just extremely grateful, right? Extremely grateful to lead these guys, man, in terms of just what a good group of men and women on our staff as well. And I thought the effort was outstanding, starting with the offensive line, as you guys were talking about the running game, the running backs. When you run the football, though, it's not just the offensive line and the running backs. It's the tight ends, it's the wide receivers. And it takes an unselfish approach, right, especially for a wide receiver to not get as many balls in a game like this And then when the ball does come your way, the opportunities you get, you got to make the most of them. And I thought they did that. Steph's catch was amazing, and a big play for us there. Josh's mindset again as a quarterback. I think we threw for 85, 86 yards, whatever it was. And I love that about him. He just wants to win, and that says a lot about who he is as a competitor and as a person. I thought all three phases chipped into this, right? Good complementary football, defensively, special teams. I felt the special teams in terms of the coverage units, and so just a good day all around.
You just answered it, but I mean, given the stakes, given the competition, like this has been your most complete win of the year.
Man, it's such a long year. Hard to say. I mean, it was all I can say is it was the game we were focused on the most, Sal. And the preparation during the week, the guys did a phenomenal job along with the staff. I need to credit the staff. Good game plans on all three phases, and in order to prepare to play like that, it takes a lot of preparation by the coaches, by the staff, and the players put in a lot of time. They knew the challenge, and that's a really good football team. So that's not indicative necessarily of who they are. I think just our level of play tonight was very high.
I mean, you guys were dominant physically, Sean, and that's an offense that had been averaging over 40 points a game in the last 5. What was the key from a defensive standpoint, as you called it, to kind of limiting them and having the day?
Yeah, I mean, they've got multiple weapons across their offense, starting with Dak. I mean, he's having a heck of a year, MVP candidate, and he was playing really clean football, and he did so tonight as well. I mean, we had some opportunities. We got one of them. Thought we had a chance to get a couple more. We got to continue to work on those, attacking the football. Starts up front like it always does every week, and I think that first third down, Dak got out, and then after that we got him into a 3rd and long, and we were able to get off the field and finish the job there. And then from there it was a good combination of run defense and rush and coverage working together, and I think anytime you can do that, you're giving yourself a chance.
Sean, you've talked about physical play and needing to do that. Not that every game's going to be where you run it this much, but is this the kind of game you guys need to be able to play, or need to be able to show you can play when need be?
Yes, definitely. You need to be able to do this. You need to be able to play that way down the stretch because of weather, or they're taking away your fastball, and I just believe in that. I think just philosophically, holistically, you've got to be able to show that you can do that, be it two-dimensional offense, or in this case, a one-dimensional offense via the run. And it just helps the whole football team, right? It keeps their explosive offense on the sideline with their explosive players, and it's just a mindset too, and you've got to be able to do that.
Along those lines, just how important is it to be able to play like that and win in a game where Josh doesn't feel like he has to be Superman and do all kinds of crazy things and throw for 1 million yards or whatever? Yeah,
it's all part of what I was saying earlier, Heather, just about the level of play. Whether you're throwing it or running it, your level of play this time of year has to be extremely high, and you learn a little bit from every game as a coach, as a player, and I think you can, as Josh is gone, he continues to learn what it takes to win in this league, and he'll continue to do that as his career unfolds. And I think that's been fun to watch and a joy from a coach's standpoint as well.
So I know Josh talked about running the ball really wasn't the point of emphasis of the game plan. It just happened that way. Did y'all guys just really look at how James Cook was having a day, and if it's not broke, don't fix it type of mentality?
Yeah, it's like anything else. I mean, it's not like we're going to come in and be 70-30 pass to run or anything like that. It's just, we have Coach Cromer and Coach Gunn do a great job of putting together the game plan from a run standpoint each week, and then you got to be willing to call it. So give Joe credit there too, and stick with it. And when it's working, why get away from it, right? And so whether it's the pass or the run, and the run was working for us tonight.
What's been the key, Sean, to unlocking James? Like, we've seen flashes from him before. This was his most dominant game. We saw Kansas City last week. He was really, really strong. Has Joe been a part of that? And maybe what else has kind of fed into that?
I think Coach Skip has done a good job, as well as the running backs. I'm not crediting Joe. I mean, you got to give him opportunity. You got to give James touches, right? And so touches matter to a running back, that they can get into a lather and get going and get into a rhythm. And same for an offensive line. James's development, number one, credit him. Number two, Coach Skipper, and then the running backs that are in the room around James also on a daily basis have helped with his development, his maturation, because there's highs and lows. I mean, like I've said before, you're going to want some plays back. I know there's one play he wants back from tonight as well. So you're always looking for things you can work on.
Coach, how well has Dion Dawkins played this year? He had a block down on the other end of the field today that I thought was something that motivates a team when you see a player do his job like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you finish plays, to me it says a lot about who you are as a person, as a football player, and as a team, right? I've said this before, it's not necessarily what plays we run, it's how we run them. And when you run them with a certain level of intensity and a finishing mindset, and that's some of what I saw tonight and quite honestly the last couple of weeks, whether it be offensively in this case, defensively, or special teams. And Dion has had a big hand in that. His willingness to strain, his effort, that's important.
Sean, you guys had a drive in the second half. It was 14 plays. You ran the ball 13 times. Basically, you said, this is what we're going to do, stop it. What's that do? You know, I know it's your offense, but what's that do from a defensive side of things when you can't stop it?
Yeah, I mean, you can only do so many things as a defensive play caller. You can only put, so many guys in the box. And at some point, someone's got to make a play. And so, I credit our offensive line again and Joe giving them the touches and staying with it, because it's easy to go, hey, run, okay, it worked, go another run, it worked, and then, all right, I'm going to play action right here. And he stuck with it, and they took ownership of that, because after you get a couple runs, hey, some people are like, hey, okay, that was good, we moved it now, right? Hey, Joe, turn to the pass, and they stayed right with it, which is also a mindset.
You say it's tough. How much tougher is it when 17's the quarterback?
Yeah, you always have to worry about what Josh is going to do, right? It's when you have a player like Josh or like Dak Prescott, and you're always worried about, if I commit to the run, what's going to happen to me in the pass game? So it's a matchup league.
Coach, really disciplined football today. You had one penalty today. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's a big. It's something we take a lot of pride in, is the discipline of our football team, and having disciplined players and leaders that lead by example, I think, is where it starts, right? Because I can be up here pounding the podium every week with them, I'm saying, but it's really the message that they're taking to the team, them being the captains and the veteran leaders on our team.
Sean, you guys talk about playing your best football down the stretch in this time of the year. Do you think that you guys are peaking at the right time right now, or starting to? Well,
yeah, the NFL is a one game at a time league, right? 1 week at a time league, and we've got to obviously watch the film and learn from this. And we're on a short week. I know we've got a couple guys banged up, so we're got to go all the way out west. So that'll be a challenge in and of itself.
What's the conversation when you back leg on the sideline with the players when you're pulling them out of the game with 11 minutes to go against the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, I put the defense back out there.
The offense.
I don't know. I didn't really. I was focused on the defense, I guess, after the offense was out. So.
But you made that call, right?
I did. Yeah. To pull the offense out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that they had done their job. The defense hadn't done their job by that point.
Coach, we're going to talk about the effort that the defense went out there. Open field tackles, just rallying to the football today.
Yeah. That was going to be big because they do a good job of taking shots, but they also throw the ball underneath and they keep you, kind of off balance defensively. And I thought our guys tackled well when they were able to set up in those zones and break and tackle. And that's, again, when the rush and the coverage are working together, you can set up and trust that the rush is getting there, and then you can break underneath when you need to break.
Do you feel like you hit your stride in managing all of this? I mean, you were defense coordinator for a long time, but was there any part of this season that was kind of getting back up on the bike again and learning how to do it in this role that you're in now, and you feel like you're maybe hitting your stride in that?
I'm always learning, I would say. Always finding things I can work on and get better at. So I'm just extremely grateful to work with these players and these coaches. I mean, the staff has done a phenomenal job. They really have, and we have great collaboration on our staff and some really good people. Thanks, guys.
All right, Ticketmaster is the presenting sponsor of the Buffalo Bills 2023 season. Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the NFL, and the Bills are going to be on a short week this week as they head to L.A. to face the Chargers on Saturday evening. So, Steve, what do the Bills got to do this week to ensure they're feeling good for another game against the conference? They're sitting at 9th place right now in the AFC.
They went from 11th to 9th.
From 11 to 9.
Yeah.
They're still in the hunt. They've got to keep winning if they want the playoffs to be a reality for them.
That's right. If they keep winning, they don't have to worry about anything. 10 wins or 11 wins will get them in my opinion. I think there's
the division is still up for grabs.
And the division is still up for grabs. And that's kind of what you're looking for. If you can get the division title, you're absolutely assured of getting in and getting a game at home in Buffalo. So that's first and foremost. If they win out, they're going to have a shot at the division, maybe, and depending on what Miami does. Right. Certainly, that's got to be on the table for them. Other than that, certainly you take what you can from this game. The running game was huge. And I think you've got to ask yourself, if you're a Bills coaching staff, how does this change our perception, the perception of us by the teams we're going to play? Are the Chargers going to come out there and think, man, what are we going to do? Are we going to have to change our defense to get on top of this running game? How are we going to attack this? How are we going to protect? That's got to throw a wrench into the preparation you're doing for this Buffalo Bills team. You're thinking, Josh Allen, keep him in the pocket. They're going to throw this ball. And all of a sudden they throw it 15 times and roll. They're a problem. Big-time problem. And as much as the problem as they are, both in the run now and the pass, and the fact that this team, they don't care. We got the MVP candidate. Yeah, he's going to throw it 15 times. Good luck, and we're going to roll. That's a big problem for teams, they did. It didn't look like they were just. It just looked, man. They just outmuscled these guys, and they pushed them down around They scored. They didn't get held up. They didn't get in these long third and longs. It wasn't a punt fest. They scored 31 points and had 3 drives in the first half of at least 11 plays and 75 yards. That's impressive. Mm-hmm. The Buffalo News, I'll give the Buffalo News credit. I was reading a quick article from them. That's the first team in 30 years that's been able to have 3 drives in one half for 75 yards and score 3 touchdowns off it, and all 3 of them lasted 11-plus plays. That's a dominant offense, and they didn't have to throw to do it. The Bills are a problem. If you're trying to get ready to play this team, they got Josh Allen and Steph Diggs, and they're throwing it. Wait a minute, too. They ran for 266 against the Cowboys. That's a problem.
In walks James Cook. This team is peaking at the right time. And if you're a coach, you got to love that this team had 0 turnovers, won the turnover battle with an interception by Christian Benford, and 1 penalty on the night.
It's an amazing stat, and you get the feel, too. There were a couple of times when you think, wow, there could have been multiple interceptions. Dak Prescott got a lot of balls knocked down, and a couple of times the Cowboy defenders had to knock it away because it was going to be an interception, and the Bills just stonehand a couple of them. Yes, as even as this game could have been for the Cowboys, and those early penalties and the roughing penalties and the drives that were sustained early on, it also could have been a laugher if the Bills come up with all the turnovers they had a hand on early in this game. Yeah, this team is going to be a real problem to game plan for now that you've seen James Cook run like he did tonight, their offensive line dominate like they did tonight, and then know that they got Josh Allen back there ready to take over a game if he so desires. Yep. They're a problem.
And we go from being against the Cowboys tonight, because obviously we were cheering for a Bills dub, to next week we are going to be the biggest Cowboys fans because they play the Miami Dolphins, and we are rooting for Miami Dolphins' loss for the possibility of the Bills to win the division. So we go from not liking the Cowboys to loving them next week. Yeah,
it's that time of year.
It's that time of year.
It's that time
and
of
we
year.
love it. All right, that's going to do it for us for Bills Postgame Live. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. If you guys want a longer version of this show, go ahead and turn on MSG tonight at 11:30 for Bills Tonight. But you guys can catch us next week right after the Chargers game. We'll see you next time.